Okay, so for quite a few years, I have enjoyed just eating in restaurants. I don't like to cook, and I never felt self-conscious about being just me in a book. To me, that's ideal. The presence of another person is an appetite spoiler for me. And I don't have many friends, but once in a while, you run into somebody you know, you're set to have a good time and free of the pressure of another person's nattering jaws, and then somebody appears and it seems natural to them to sit down and start talking to you. But more recently, I don't enjoy eating out anymore, and I think it's because as I age, I've taken on the appearance of somebody who looks more suited to, at dinner time, being home, opening a can of cat food and perhaps pitching into that. And it's not that I try to go to very fancy restaurants, but people who work in service jobs have only a certain amount of tolerance, or simulated tolerance, of course, and patience with people, and they're not going to spend it on somebody who looks like me, especially if you are just a lone patron. And this was most recently demonstrated to me at Cosmic Pizza, which I hardly have gone into, hadn't been in a long time, forgot the layout. So I go in, there's only about 8 people in the restaurant. Anyway, so I go up and I order my meal, and then I say, can I have some coffee? And the woman says, oh, we don't have coffee. And do you have Diet Pepsi? And no, we don't. We have this stuff. And so it was like the John Belushi thing. No Coke, Pepsi, except there was no Pepsi. So I sat down, and then I noticed Theo's over in the corner, like 30 feet away. She'd said there was no coffee, but of course this other place sells coffee. So I got some coffee, or started to. There were 2 guys behind the counter, 1 customer leaving, and they glanced at me, and in a millisecond, they made that assessment people do, which is, this is a person who can damn well wait until we're done talking. So, so it wasn't just a few sentences or completion of a thought, it was a number of paragraphs, and then one of them left, and the other person looked at me and sort of dismissively took my order and gave me my large coffee in a huge coffee cup with a narrow base, which I thought was a curious design for a large coffee cup. But I was really rattled because I felt slighted. But restaurant workers know just how to slight you the right amount. So not enough so that you complain, but you just feel thoroughly depressed and insecure. And this man had succeeded. So I took the coffee over to the table, and usually I'm very thoughtful. Even if the restaurant has few people, I just sit at a little tiny table in case a crowd comes in, because the lone person does not want to be taking up a lot of space. But I indulged in a double table, and one was a little higher than the other, so I put my coffee down and knocked it over immediately. So then a woman came over, the woman who had denied the availability of any coffee, to clean the coffee up. And I felt bad, but at the same time, I thought it was strange that she didn't even say, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that we have coffee. It seemed perfectly normal to her. So I just sat there a moment, and then I left. I don't know who ate my chicken Caesar salad, but it wasn't me, because I didn't want to go there anymore. So now I more increasingly like to eat at home. And it's a problem. It wouldn't be a problem, I think, if I ate with other people. It wouldn't even have to be somebody super well-groomed. And I mean, I'm clean, but I look like this most of the time. I don't look very respectable, I don't look employed, but yes, astonishingly, I am employed, yes. And, but just the presence of another person means you have an ally, you have an advocate. People don't dare be quite so rude to you as they do when you're alone. But when you're alone, people can treat you like shit. And I know I've had service jobs where I knew who I could afford to let it out on and who not. And ironically, children in restaurants have just the same gift for calculating how, like, and they want to be irritating, but they know how to calculate just how high to pitch their voices. So their mother's not going to say, shut the fuck up, you know, or I'm going to take you out of the car. But, and everyone around them, though, is just on edge. This happens especially at restaurants or I love to eat at Newman's now, because the people there just actually talk to me as if I were a human. So I do like Newman's. But children there are allowed to do pretty much anything they like. Anyway, I moved to Eugene thinking that Eugene was going to be different from Salem, and it is, certainly. But Eugene, I feel people are even more comfortable being very dismissive of me, and then
Totally.